Hey, what's shaking, YouTube? Look forward and remember, all in all, it's just another brick in the wall. Even if that brick is in a spot that obviously used to be occupied by a window. So for those who don't know, that is Kitty's Cocktails right in front of me. Been chilling there tonight. I've been bugging them about doing my karaoke show there for a while. I don't know if that's in my cards or not. They've seemed lukewarm about it. Like, not, yeah, we're never going to do karaoke. You're not, you're weird, get the fuck out of here. Like, I seem to be valued as sort of a regular in that bar, but I don't know. I just don't even know half the time. But, I'm right in the middle of, like, this 36th Street in Thomas. I'm kind of the epicenter of most of the bars that I've previously hosted at and had successful shows at. And I feel like there's a lot of people in this neighborhood that are still itching for me to, you know, be doing shows. I mean, mostly I see them when I go to, Kimmy's show at Wander Inn, but I also see them when I, pop. One time I popped into Castaways. That's still kind of an awkward thing for me, but also when I go into Gypsies. But yeah, I mean, I've been hosting karaoke in this part of town for over 15 years, and still a lot of people out here that, in this part of town that love what I do, and I'm known here. Anyways, I was just chilling there. Using the Wi-Fi, trying to upload the vlogs. I'm a little less than 24 hours behind on uploading them. The Wi-Fi there was working, but holy crap, was it slow. But it's all right. It's some good time. It's some good conversation there. So I've been wanting to vlog today, just kind of give us some updates of things I've been talking about. But I had to stop using the Motorola because I got four videos that I've recorded on the thing, and I can't for the life of me figure out how to get that thing, like how to go about uploading files from it to YouTube. As I mentioned before, I don't know my Google password offhand. All my devices I regularly use on Google recognize me. They log me into Google. Every now and then when Google has its doubts, like, it just sends some kind of a pop-up on my cell phone. I click OK, and they're like, "Oh, you're you." Yeah, me. But it's been so long since I've used that Motorola Droid. It's popping it up that it's my account, and it gives me the problem with the password, but it doesn't. It's not logging the device in. And I'm just, after my previous experiences with messing up trying to put in my Google password, I am just absolutely terrified that if I fuck that up, that my iPhone that I'm recording on now and the machine that I use for hosting my karaoke will lock me out, and I won't be able to recover my password. And I know it sounds crazy and paranoid, but I have my reasons. I know I've previously explained them. So I should really go home. It's 12:35 a.m. the August 10th, Monday night, Tuesday morning. But I don't know, just really not so eager to be at home these days. Not very happy there. And I hope y'all saw the lightning there. That was pretty cool. Some of my singers, nobody that I really talk to, but a handful of my previous singers that are on my Snapchat have been posting little videos of themselves hanging out at a spot called Little Woody's, I think it is, and I just realized I'm passing it. And it is this really bizarre kind of hidden bar. And I'm there. It's got a pretty notable Google profile, but it's definitely open. There's a lot of cars back here. I've never stepped foot in this place. I don't really what I'm stepping into. Based on a lot of the stuff that I saw online, it's probably not a good candidate for a karaoke show, but I do know a lot of my, not a lot, but a handful of my singers that are still on my Snapchat, previous singers, mostly people from Castaways, like coming here. And, wow, it's a neighborhood bar that I've never stepped foot in, so I think it's time for me to step foot in it and check it out. Couple updates on some relevant stuff that I just want to get recorded while I've got a little bit of space to record some vlogs on here. Yeah, it's been a challenge trying to get Wi-Fi that'll upload them to free up the space, and until I can figure out how to upload from my Droid. It's another device I can record on, but it's not particularly helpful. My driver's license is valid, and it was never suspended. That's a big deal. I was really nervous about that. My court date for the first accident, I think it was July 30th, and the one for the second accident was it was August 5th. And I finally pulled my hat out of my ass and looked over dug up my paperwork and looked up on August 6th at about 4:30 p.m. when it was like too late to even make it, down to the courthouse and deal with it. When I went in today, I'm still kind of a little confused by the clerk. It doesn't feel like that courthouse is really operating like a real courthouse at the moment. I question if any judge even looked at this. I question if the cop even showed up for me to have a trial. I really question those things. But since I blew off my court dates, I'll never know. And it's on me. And I have no particularly good excuse for that other than, just being depressed and not paying attention to shit. And that's on me. I'll own it. I'll take responsibility for it. Since I never got a chance to argue, I really believe the second accident that I had a pretty good legal defense, which I mentioned before about how the signs were configured saying to go left, where there was contradictory signs that were harder to see because of the stuff that said to go left, said to split. I'll never get a chance to argue that because I didn't show up on the date I should have been there to argue that. The clerk that I talked to, she was talking to, I told her that I'm like kind of in a bad space financially right now, and she's like, oh, we can do payment plans, and I thought about it, but it looked like kind of it was kind of a discretionary thing where I would have to go through this whole procedure of applying, and the judge would have to make a decision on it, and blah, 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 and I've gone through some really tough times in the past as a result of tickets that somehow slipped through my radar. The one out of Tempe, I got my driver's license suspended like a decade later. And I mean, I knew I had a court date and whatever, but like at that time I was, regularly a cab driver, and I regularly got my motor vehicle reports for the cab companies. That was, now they just check it by themselves, but back then you'd have to get it printed, certified, with the embossed seal on it and bring it to them. And I did that every year, and this ticket never showed up. And I just kind of assumed that it got dismissed. Like, maybe the cop didn't show up on the court date, and I didn't show up on the court date, and the judge was like, threw it out, whatever. Or maybe it absolutely didn't get filed. That sort of thing happens sometimes. At any rate, I don't recall ever getting anything in the mail about it. I don't recall ever getting, for like a decade, like literally a decade, that shit never showed up on my motor vehicle report. So I didn't think anything of it. And then, like a decade later, I'm having some kind of drama with Lily's mom. And and mind you, I'm driving for VIP Taxi at that time. And I show the officer that's dealing with that drama, which I was 100% in the right on that, and that's another story in and of itself. But looked at my ID, and then he ended up writing, and he ran her off. He did. She had no business being there, causing me issues. But he confiscated my driver's license, and then wrote me a citation for, basically, he's trying to say I knowingly gave him a false ID by handing him a suspended license. Like, wait, what? Why would my license be suspended? I haven't had a ticket in over a decade. Yeah. So apparently Tempe decided they needed some money, so they went back through the back catalog of old tickets that they never did anything on and sent to the DMV like a decade later. Anyway, knowing that a city court has the capacity to do that, I decided, as much as maybe it would be helpful to be on a payment plan, I decided to just pay all the fines plus default fees plus service fees and whatever, where the government were just going to fuck you because we can fees. And I just paid them all. It was about $430. Went on one of my credit cards. Do I have the ability to pay it? No, really I don't. But I look at it this way. Capital One doesn't have the capability to suspend my driver's license. And getting my credit trash and getting my credit card suspended or whatever, which I'm not quite to that point, but I'm nervous about it. But those things will not mess up my life nearly as much as having a suspended license and the potential trauma that can come for that. I mean, I've talked about potentially being homeless and living in my car. Hypothetical situation. I'm down in Santa Monica and I'm quasi living in my car and I'm parked in a spot where I don't think I will get messed with. But Santa Monica PD shows up and decides to mess with me. If my driver's license is valid, my registration is valid, my insurance is valid, they look at it, send me on my merry way. My license is suspended. I get a ticket I can't afford to pay, and I get my vehicle impounded, and I probably don't have the means to ever get it back. I've lost some vehicles to being impounded and not having the means to get them back. I can't tell you how many off the top of my head, but been a couple. Definitely that's how I lost my Buick. Definitely that's how I lost my 59 Chevy. And if I think hard, there's probably more vehicles than that I've lost due to being poor. I mean, you can say it's negligence on my part, whatever, but it's, I don't know if there's any published statistics on it, but there's a lot of people that lose their vehicles because they get impounded and they simply do not have the means to get them back. And there's definitely a big economic divide between people who have vehicles and people who don't have vehicles. Once you're at the point where you don't have a vehicle, it can be difficult to get a vehicle. So easier to take on another $430 worth of debt than to be in a situation where if I make a mistake, the City of Phoenix Court has, can push a piece of paper and suspend my license. So done with the Phoenix City Court. You get a little more debt. But the important thing is that I never did get a suspension. They never did put through a suspension order, so I don't